This is a screencast on how to use Mathletics data to drive instruction. This screencast includes actual student data, so please be cautious when sharing it since the actual student names and scores are included in it. If you go to results, you can see what each student has scored in each individual section in the Common Core area. So for example, this fourth grade class, we're doing a lot of work in number and operations. So they actually went through all of the topics that were there. If you'll notice, most of the scores are mastered, and that's because the students were able to go through and understand each one of those topics, and the things that they didn't, they went back and redid until they did get them. There's still some that they haven't. So what the teacher will do is go in there and look at which students haven't yet mastered. One thing they'll do on Mathletics is they'll assign the activity to anyone who hasn't mastered. So anyone who has a score below 85, and it will automatically assign them to them. But the other thing the teacher will do is take a look and see how many times has that student attempted that assignment. So here the student has attempted it 6 times and still hasn't mastered it, has a 70 on that assignment. Same thing here, this student actually already has a bunch of other assignments that they need to work on. This student has attempted this 6 times and hasn't mastered it. This student has attempted it 4 times and hasn't mastered it. So what the teacher will do is take all of these students that have not mastered it but have had multiple attempts and work with them individually or as a small group, depending on what works best in her classroom at that time, so that she can work on this topic with them. And there's a couple ways that she can do that. One thing she can do is she can go here to where it says preview activity and actually do the activity with that group and go through the entire process, including the tutorial that they give on the step-by-step of how to do it. So that's one thing she could do. Obviously, another thing she could do is her individual teaching on how she teaches that topic. And this was a topic that was rather difficult for the student. Another thing she could do is go to the ebooks that are available in Mathletics on the same topic. So these are multiples of 10. So if we go back to the main menu here, one of the things available is ebooks. And you'll notice one of the ebooks available is multiplication and division. So all she has to do is download the book. Just click on the book to download it. Once she does that, she'll see this book. It will actually give every single thing that's in there in the table of contents here, and the kids can, if she printed it out, the kids could actually do step by step each portion. But if she just wants that particular topic because that's the one that these students are studying, that they're struggling with, she's going to go to the page that had that, which said it was page 13, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Mental multiplication strategies, multiplying by 10 and 100. And here we have a worksheet that actually breaks down for them how they would do exactly this topic. And again, the teacher can work with that small group on this topic so that they can really get it and have a chance to practice it again here in another way. Then they can go back and try that assignment again to see if they've finally been able to master it. Now she can do the same thing whether that's a small group that needs that intervention, a individual student that needs that intervention, like here, for example, looks like there's one student that's having that issue, or if the whole class really needs some reteaching. For instance, here, the majority of the class is really struggling with this multiplying 2-digit numbers with regrouping. So clearly some reteaching is going to need to happen there. While the teacher is reteaching to those students, the majority of the class here, who didn't master it, the other students, those few students who did master it, can do something a little bit more difficult. So she can assign them a something harder assignment, such as this dividing one here. That allows her the time to work with the students who need that extra help, and gives the students who don't need that extra help the chance to be able to do something more advanced rather than having to sit through a lesson that they already understand. So that's about it. Those are the main ways that you can use data to differentiate and drive instruction from Mathletics.